Welcome to the Christian Life Coach podcast. I'm Shanna, your Christian life coach. I help women who feel overwhelmed, stretched thin, or stuck in patterns that don't match the life God created them for. If you've ever felt that quiet tug, that sense that you are made for more than how you're living right now, that's not your imagination. That's your spirit craving alignment, peace, and purpose. Here, we start with identity because when you know who you are in Christ, you finally know how to show up. We talk renewed thoughts, simple habits, emotional resilience, and sustainable rhythms that help you stop surviving on scraps and start living with intention and courage. Jesus said, "You are salt and you are light." That means you are created to live differently and shine differently from the inside out. If you're ready to grow, to simplify, and to become the woman God designed you to be, you're in the right place. Life coaching is life changing, one renewed thought at a time. Let's do this together. Welcome to episode 49 of the Christian Life Coach podcast. This month, I have been talking about self-care in a bit of a different way. And we started out with how making a decision, deciding is self-care. And then last week, I talked about how planning is self-care. You make the decision and then you make a plan, and that is all parts of self-care. It can be considered self-care. And I don't know if you know this or not, but I wrote a book. It is a 31-day devotional called Self-Care as Stewardship. And I am all about self-care. I'm all about the different things that we consider self-care and how self-care is not, I do not believe that manis, petties, spa days, vacations, I don't call those things self-care. I think of self-care as the foundations of how we are actually taking care of ourself, of our mind, our spirit, our body, our heart, the resources that God has given to us, how we take care of those things. That's what I view as self-care. And I put the link to my book in the show notes. I would love for you to go grab one for yourself and copies for your friends. And this month, it's not too late. If you get a copy of Self-Care as Stewardship, a 31-day devotional, we're 13 days into the month right now. When you hear this, we'll be 21 days into the month, so it's getting to the end. But I do have a Facebook group called Self-Care Stewardship January 2026. And I am going live in that Facebook group every morning and just kind of discussing that day's reading. And if you don't get in time for that, I apologize. But there's so much good stuff in there and it's so encouraging. And I would love to share my thoughts on self-care with you. Okay, so we talked about deciding as self-care last week. It was planning as self-care. And this week it is follow through as self-care. How keeping promises to yourself builds self-trust and steadies your life. And as a Christian, that can kind of sound like self-trust, self-confidence, self. But really, it is all about being a good steward with yourself. So when we're building self-trust, we are living in congruence. We are following through. We are doing what we say we're going to do. And we all know as women, usually we are really, really good at showing up for other people. We are good at showing up for appointments, deadlines that other people have set for us. We show up for our kids. We show up for our jobs. We show up for church and the things that we volunteer there. We show up for the commitments that we've made outside of ourselves. And in doing that, and that's all great. Like we want to be people that keep our word, right? And we so often make commitments to ourselves, and then we just kind of quietly drop those commitments. And I am not here about blame or shame. I am not here to encourage regret. I want us to become aware and use that awareness to spur us on. It's not failure. It's not laziness. We've just kind of eroded our trust in ourselves. We have allowed commitments to fall by the wayside so much that we don't trust that we're going to do what we say we're going to do for ourselves. So we stop even deciding that we're going to do it. And when we practice follow through, this self-care practice of follow through, it creates peace and confidence and stability. And we don't want to follow through just for discipline's sake. It's not about I'm disciplined, I will do it. We follow through as an act of stewardship, of stewarding well the gifts that God has given us and living into being the person that God created us to be. Now, self-trust. It's basically simply, I decided I was going to do this thing for myself, and I'm the only one that is accountable for this and to this. I make a plan and then I follow through. And when I decide I'm going to do something and I follow through on it, I develop trust in myself that I can do what I say I'm going to do. When we make a commitment to somebody else and we follow through, they learn that they can trust us. When we decide something for ourselves and we follow through, we learn that we can trust ourselves. And it's repetition, it's showing up, it's following through over time, being consistent, not perfect. And I love the concept of consistency is more important than intensity. Get consistent at doing something, even if it's at a very low level or for a very short time, but you get consistent doing the thing, and then you can increase the intensity. You can increase the amount or the time or whatever. When we don't have that self-trust, when we have broken trust with ourselves so often that we don't get to experience that self-trust, it creates a lot of mental noise. Why can't I just do what I say I'm going to do? Why can't I be a person that does what I say I'm going to do? I never follow through. It's just like a lot of repetitive thoughts. It's self-doubt. It's overthinking. It's harsh self-talk. And honestly, we were just never we were never taught. We were meant to. We were never taught to build trust with ourselves on purpose. It was never a thing. It was show up for other people, do what you say you're going to do for other people. And like, this wasn't even a thing, right? So self-care, when we want, I mean, and when I'm self-care is my, like, it's my foundational thing that I talk about, right? And when we are talking about building self-trust, like the foundation, like the first thing that I really want to focus on is how do I take care of myself well so that I can take care of others well? And self-care looks like getting rest, taking breaks, doing what you said you're going to do. It's drinking water. It's eating food that nourishes and energizes your body. It's investing in relationships. It's creating connecting connection points in the important relationships in your life. It's spending time with God. It's moving your body. And self-care includes doing what you say you're going to do, which lowers the amount of mental clutter. It stops the second guessing. It leads to calm. It leads to internal safety. And we're doing this from a place of integrity, of living in alignment with who we believe ourselves to be. It's not about white knuckling. It's not about willpower. It's living in congruence. I do what I say I'm going to do, whether it's for somebody else or whether it's for myself. And it creates an anchor. It's an anchor that is attached to that integrity, to that faith that I live from. And it starts internally. And when we steady ourselves, knowing that we can trust ourselves, then we kind of steady the life around us too. Everything falls into line. Now, we're always going to show up for other people. We're going to follow through on what we say we're going to do for other people, whether we want to or not. Like, we can be all gung ho when we say we're going to do something. And then when it comes time to do it, you're like, why did I say I would do that? I don't want to. I don't want to. But you're going to do it because you said you were going to do it and because they're trusting that you're going to do it. And we do this because there's um, that external accountability. We're being relied on from somebody outside of ourselves. And internally, we're inconsistent when it comes down to being accountable to ourselves. We're not consistent. We're not reliable. And why? Obviously, it makes so much sense. When we do things for other people, when we show up for other people, we feel good about ourselves. We might get external praise from other people. We, um, it feels good. We get that praise, we get that external reinforcement, and we silence the guilt around not prioritizing ourselves. We think that keeping promises to ourselves is selfish because really keeping a promise to myself, saying yes to me, might require that I say no to somebody else or something else. Probably will sometimes. So we think that keeping promises to ourselves is selfish. Well, they really need me, so I need to go help them. So I can't do this thing that I said I was going to do for myself, even if it really matters. You cannot steward well what you continually abandon. Now, there are going to be things that come up, absolutely, but it should be the exception to the rule, not the rule. And this is just the way that we've operated. This is what we have practiced, putting ourselves last on the list so that we can give to everybody else. And then we're depleted and we're not giving from a place of overflow. We're giving from a place of depletion, of we have to white knuckle to keep going. We're exhausted. We are resentful, all of those things. And what if we kept our word to ourselves, steward ourselves well, did these basic foundational self-care habits, and then we could give from the overflow, not like shaking out the last drips in the glass, but we are so overflowed that we can't help but pour out into other people. And when we're working on this, it's not really about what we do, what we accomplish. It's really who are we becoming in the process? Our habits shape our identity. We become what we practice. I am a well-watered woman. I am well rested. I give from the overflow that has been poured into me. I keep my word. I can be trusted. I follow through. And now the things that I'm talking about, and it could be anything, like whatever it is that you commit to doing for yourself, it can be anything. The things that I really talk about foundationally before you can promise yourself, extravagant things. Are you hydrating well? Are you moving your body consistently? Are you going to bed at a decent time to get enough sleep? Are you planning ahead so that you have order and predictability in your life? Are you connecting with the people that you love? Are you fostering your relationship with God? And if you can't keep your word to yourself on those things, it's going to be really hard to keep your word to yourself on other things. So we want to establish habits that we develop self-trust. Like you decide what you're going to do, you make a plan. What are the habits that are going to help you to achieve that thing that you want to achieve? And the habits are so important, but it's who you're becoming in the process of practicing those habits that really matters. Now, follow through, it can feel hard. I never do what I say I'm going to do. And that, I mean, I've repeated that just in this episode so many times because it's something that comes up all the time. Sometimes we don't keep our word to ourselves because we overcommit. So when I decide that I am going to build self-trust, I'm going to be really careful about what I commit to. So when I make a decision, I want to make decisions based on the assumption that I'm going to follow through. So I want to commit to only those things that really matter, that I want to really hold myself accountable to, that I want to follow through on. So one of the things that gets in the way is overcommitting. Another thing is skipping planning, not really looking at the plan, seeing what fits, what doesn't fit. Another thing is expecting motivation. We don't need motivation to do anything. I mean, if you're caring for an infant and they have a dirty diaper, you don't have to feel motivated to change the diaper. It's just what you do. And if we can get these habits into a rhythm of our life and practice them until it's just what we do. We don't need motivation. And we don't create margin. We don't allow for times to really to just rest, or margin that allows time to catch up on something that took more time than I thought, or something that shows up unexpectedly. We need margin in our lives. Another thing that gets in the way of our following through or making it feel hard is when we want something, it's not the same as planning for it. Wanting might just be wishing, but if we plan for it, then we have something to act on, to follow through on. And often broken follow through, not following through, comes from unrealistic plans or no plans at all. So we want our plans to be realistic. We want to set ourselves up for success. What fits? Where does it fit? And it's not about trying harder. It's about deciding from a place of wisdom and understanding, looking at the full picture, looking at the details. Do I really want to do this thing right now? Maybe it's something you want to do, but it's not quite the time to do it. So here's what I want you to do. Choose one thing that actually matters. Not everything, not a whole reset, not a whole new life. One thing. It could be drinking water, planning your day, moving your body, spending time with your loved one, writing a gratitude list, like whatever it is, what works for you in the realm of self-care and building self-trust. And then when you're planning, don't plan for the perfect day. Plan for a less than ideal day. Because if the plan only works when you feel good, when everything's going the way that it should, then the plan's not going to work. So even on the worst day, what is the plan? And keep the promise to yourself. When you're starting this, keep the promises small, but make sure they matter. And that will build more trust than making big promises to yourself and breaking them. And then, and I cannot say this loud enough, acknowledge yourself when you follow through. It's not bragging. It's not conceit. It's not pride. It's recognition. I did what I said I was going to do. I said I was going to do something and I did it. And nobody else was holding me accountable for it. It was just me. And that can be really, a habit tracker is a great way to celebrate getting that check, or now I write stars on my habit tracker. That is a little dopamine hit just in itself. Like, that is how I celebrate. I did this thing. Yay, me. And then when you don't follow through, no shaming. Missed days, imperfect follow through, it's okay. You just want it to be the exception, not the rule. And maybe you want to be disappointed for not doing it so that you know, I feel so much better when I do this, but you do not want to shame yourself. Shame does not belong here. Should equals shame. We don't should ourselves. And then move on. Tell the truth. I didn't do this because this is how I'm going to do it better next time. Adjust the plan, eliminate the drama. And remember that we are working on faithfulness, not perfection, progress, not perfection, persistence, not perfection. Now, follow through is a form of self-care. It's how we take care of ourselves. It's how we can be filled to overflowing. We don't have to overhaul everything. What's one promise you're already starting to keep with yourself? What's one thing that you're going to work on? You are worth showing up for. You were created, you are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works he has prepared in advance for you to do. You are loved, you are chosen, you are redeemed, you are forgiven, you are worthy. Jesus died for you. He set your worth. You don't have to do anything else. And you can learn to trust yourself. One little important step at a time. If you want, again, I have my self-care stewardship, a 31-day devotional linked in the show notes, and also my new planner that just got published, the Life on Purpose Planner, which will definitely help you to do this, to make the decision, to plan for it, to follow through, to celebrate those follow throughs. That link is also in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here. Remember that life coaching is life changing, one renewed thought at a time.